Well, hello everybody. Good to be with you on this midweek Devo. Today I just want to talk a little bit about last Sunday and some of the things that brought to mind for me. I want to start actually in the book of Ephesians chapter 4, which has some parallels in what we've been working through in Colossians. Ephesians 4 starts like this. As a prisoner for the Lord, Paul's writing that in prison like he did the letter to the Colossians. He says, I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received. That's been a primary theme through what we've been working through in Colossians, this idea of living a life worthy of the Lord. Here he adds the word worthy of the calling that you've received, and that leads me to what I want to talk about today. But let me give you one more passage in chapter 4, going down to verse 11. When Paul writes this, so Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors, and the teachers, all those folks, those church leaders, etc. And here's what he says. He gave all those to equip his people for works of service so that the body of Christ may be built up. That's what I saw happen on Sunday. If you were here, you recognize that neither I nor Steve or Rick were the ones that were preaching, but one of our elders, Stephen Borson, stepped up and delivered a message that was well done. He was prepared. He shared something that had been on his heart for a long time about the reliability of the Bible. Hopefully you were able to see it, but it was awesome as a pastor to know that Stephen was living out what God had called him to do. Not to be a pastor or preacher, but to share what God had done in his life and to, as one of the saints, so to speak, as Paul refers to here in Ephesians, he lived out the calling that God had placed in his life. But it wasn't only Stephen that did that on Sunday. Another place that you maybe noticed is the other pastor was kind of off for the day too, as Pastor Steve deferred to his team to lead worship, music for the day. And Gail and the rest of those folks on the stage stood up in his absence and did the work of ministry. They led us in music and led us in prayers. And we had Nick Heil come, who's one of our missionaries overseas in Berlin, and share. And it was really exciting to see the saints living out the call, living a life worthy of the calling they've received. Now, those are just a handful of people. I want to encourage you how encouraged I and we as the staff here and elders are in the work that's happening in our church family. Because it's not just the ones that I just talked about, the ones that had a microphone or are visible. There are so many of you, so many of us that are serving the Lord in this way. I think of Sunday mornings outside of what we see in the front of the church. How many people are making coffee or holding babies or teaching our children or keeping us safe or ushering or welcoming? Those are just Sundays. We think of Wednesdays when folks are here. I think there has to be more than 40 adults in the building here on Wednesdays serving our children in 4th and 5th grade first in Rooted. And then our students at Fusion, whether that be in the Fusion Cafe, folks coming in to cook and serve food, or adult leaders pouring into those young people. It's just amazing to see that happen. There's a lot of other places too. We have people who clean the church, who serve in that way. We have people who put up bulletin boards or touch up the decor around the building and the facilities. We have people who serve outside, who represent our church outside. And I'm not even talking about like your day-to-day jobs where we're all ambassadors, but you're serving on our behalf in the community at places like the Lakeland Food Pantry or the community meal that happens downtown. We adopt a highway and make our environment, our drive into Minocqua even prettier than it is. And it's just an exciting thing for me to encourage you with, how encouraged you all are, and how often you all encourage us. And so we just say thank you. It's I guess, Pastor Appreciation Month. So thanks for the cards that so many did, but I just wanted to turn that around and say how much we appreciate you and doing life and ministry together for this season that God has put in front of us. And so that's just a thought I had after this week, and I hope you are encouraged by it. We will get back into Colossians if you want to take some time to read the last 10 or so verses there, I guess, of Colossians. We'll be meeting again on Sunday working through that. Until then, get rid of that snow, and we'll see you soon.